because I don't want that day to fail. Because failing on that day, I know I've already saw her action before. So as she went there, matched the white cloth on the mat and fell into the pit. That is how everything was end. And I see that I saw the end of my enemy.
On Saturday, the 10th of May 2014, 66-year-old Angela Kerry left her home together with her adopted daughter, 10-year-old Obralulum Kerry, to meet with a herbalist in order to collect a balance of 6 million naira she was owed. This was money she had paid him for treatment that was supposed to help her become pregnant with her own biological child, even though she was already over 60 years old at the time. That short trip to collect her money back would become a journey of no return, as it would be the very last time Angela and little Obralulum would ever be seen alive. But what would terrify you the most would be the brutal and heartbreaking manner in which they both passed away. Angela Kerry was a retired Assistant Controller General of Customs, an accomplished woman who had climbed the ranks of the Nigerian Customs Service for over 35 years of service. She owned properties worth millions of naira and drove expensive cars, but despite all her success and wealth, there was one thing that money could not buy her, and that was a biological child of her own. Even though she had adopted young Obralulum and loved her dearly, Angela could not shake off the burning desire to experience pregnancy and give birth to her own child. This desire, which should have faded with age, grew even more stronger instead and turned into a desperate obsession. It was this desperation that would be ruthlessly exploited by pastors and herbalists who saw her not as a woman in need, but as a golden opportunity to get rich, and it would ultimately lead to the most horrific end imaginable for both Angela and her innocent daughter. The story began 6 years earlier in 2008 when Angela became very sick with a strange illness that baffled everyone around her. That was when a friend introduced her to a 64-year-old herbalist named Alhaji Olatunji Aziz. Olatunji examined Angela and told her that she was suffering from a spiritual attack called Ofa in the Yoruba language. According to him, wicked people had sent a spiritual arrow to harm her. The condition was causing her skin to turn black and itch without stopping. Olatunji gave Angela his herbal treatments, and to her amazement, the strange condition disappeared completely. Angela was overjoyed and grateful. She was so impressed with his healing powers that she made him her spiritual father. From that moment on, she began visiting him for everything, even for common headaches. Angela had gotten to trust him completely, and this would turn out to be her greatest mistake in life. 4 years after their first meeting, Angela visited Olatunji again, but this time, she was not looking for herbs to treat any disease. She wanted something entirely different. She wanted a herbal medicine that would help her become pregnant and bear her own biological child. Mind you, she was already over 60 years old at the time. Angela had told the herbalist that she had visited other places and they had told her that she could still have children. Olatunji had tried to make her understand her situation. He told her that if she had come to him when she was 50 years old, it might have been possible. But now that she was over 60, it was too late. But Angela refused to listen. She insisted that her instincts told her that Olatunji was the one who would make the prophecies of her pastors come true. Olatunji soon discovered something shocking. Angela had already spent 15 million naira on different pastors who had promised to help her get pregnant. She had sold her property in Lagos and was planning to relocate abroad with her adopted daughter just to be away from her family. When Olatunji discovered how much Angela was willing to spend, he saw his chance. He would later confess that he knew at that moment that if he did not take advantage of the situation, someone else would collect all her money. So, he told Angela that it would cost her 10 million naira to prepare the special medicine that would make her pregnant, even though he knew deep down that it was completely impossible for a woman her age to conceive. The following week, Angela came with 1.7 million naira as the first payment. She continued to pay gradually, and eventually, she had paid a total of 9 million naira to Olatunji. Olatunji prepared his fake herbal medicines, and Angela took them faithfully. She even told him that she had started seeing her menstruation again. Olatunji encouraged her to wait and then meet with a man. Angela mentioned that some of her boyfriends were in London, so she invited one of them to Nigeria. The man came, spent time with her, and left, but Angela still did not become pregnant. By April 2014, Angela had had enough. She came to Olatunji and told him she wanted to stop taking the medicine. She had already paid 9 million naira and there was no pregnancy. She wanted her money back. Olatunji told her bluntly that it was not possible to return the money. That was when Angela began to threaten him. She told Olatunji that she would come back with full force. Olatunji thought she was joking at first because they had never quarreled before, but Angela was serious. She came again with her daughter to demand her money, and this time, her threats were even more intense. Olatunji became frightened. He knew that as a former customs officer, Angela might have access to a gun. He also knew that she had the influence and connections to make serious trouble for him. 3 days later, Angela returned with Obralulum, still demanding her money. That day, Olatunji went to his house and gave her 2.5 million naira, but Angela was not satisfied. She told him she would return the next day for the balance, and she did. When Olatunji could not produce the remaining 6 million naira, Angela warned him that she would return in 2 days, and when she did, it would be hell. It was at this moment that evil thoughts entered Olatunji's mind. He could not afford to refund the 6 million naira, and he was terrified of what Angela might do with her customs connections, so he began to plan something truly horrifying. Olatunji hired professional well diggers and told them he wanted a well dug inside one of the rooms in his house. The diggers were surprised by the strange request, but did the job anyway. They dug a well that was 20 feet deep, and it took them 3 days to complete. Olatunji paid them 30,000 naira and made sure the sand from the well was kept close by in the compound. After the diggers left, Olatunji carefully covered the deep well with a mat and then placed a white cloth over the mat. The trap was set, and all he needed to do was find a way to lure the angry Angela to the spot. He asked Angela to come for her money on Saturday, the 10th of May 2014. Olatunji never imagined that Angela would make a choice that would make his plan even more complicated. She carried her daughter with her and then visited Olatunji that Saturday, but they were never seen or heard from ever again. For 3 weeks, Angela's family searched everywhere for her and Obralulum. When they could not find any trace of them, they finally reported the matter to the police on June 13. During the investigation, the family remembered that Angela's car had a tracking device. They contacted the company, and with the help of the police, the car was tracked down to a car stand in Abulegba, Lagos State. The car dealer told the police that it was a herbalist named Alhaji Olatunji who had brought the car to him to sell. The police arrested Olatunji immediately and took him in for questioning. On the first day of his arrest, Olatunji put on a great performance. He claimed he was completely innocent. He told the police that Angela had brought the car to his house and asked him to help sell it for her. According to his story, she left his place with her daughter to go and bring the car documents and never returned. He called on God to prove his innocence and insisted that the truth would set him free. The police were not convinced, so they transferred the case to the Special Anti-Robbery Squad (SARS) at the Lagos State Police Command for deeper investigation. For 5 whole days, despite intense questioning, Olatunji maintained his story. He cried and called on God to deliver him from injustice, but the head of the SARS team, Angela Kerry, knew something was not right. On the 6th day, Olatunji finally cracked. He admitted that he knew where Angela and her daughter were. At first, he lied again, saying he had locked them in a room in Ijebu-Ode, Ogun State. But when the police prepared to travel there, Olatunji became reluctant. That was when he decided to tell the complete truth. He confessed that he had buried both mother and daughter in a room in his compound. A team of policemen rushed to his house in Ogun State, where Olatunji led them to the boys' quarters and then pointed to a spot on the floor. He told them to start digging. At first, the police thought he was lying again because after digging over 7 feet down, which had gone beyond the standard 6 feet used to bury a corpse, they had found nothing. Everyone was getting angry, but Olatunji insisted that they should continue because it was a very deep well. At about 8 feet down, they found a traveling bag containing documents, phones and clothes. Everything belonged to Angela. A few meters deeper, they found the badly decomposing body of Obralulum Kerry. Olatunji told them to keep digging because Angela's body was still below. Finally, they found Angela's remains, decayed and mixed with water and sand. What happened was that on that Saturday, May 10, 2014, Angela came as promised, but she didn't come alone. She brought her adopted daughter Obralulum with her. She was angry and demanding her money. Olatunji had put on his calmest behavior and pleaded with her. He told her that he would surely give her the money the next day. To his relief, Angela calmed down a bit. Then, Olatunji suggested that they should go to the backyard and pray together. Since Angela loved praying, she agreed. Olatunji then led her to the room where he had prepared the trap. He asked her to kneel down on the white cloth so they could begin the prayers. Angela moved toward the cloth while holding Obralulum's hand. Olatunji tried to get her to leave the girl behind, but Angela refused. She pulled her daughter along with her, and this marked the beginning of their horror. The moment Angela and Obralulum knelt on the mat, they fell straight into the 20-foot deep well. When Olatunji looked into the well, he saw Angela sitting at the bottom while Obralulum was standing. Without wasting time, Olatunji began pouring buckets of sand into the well. He poured about 50 buckets before he got tired and terrified. It was getting late, so he rushed to the mosque to pray and ask God for forgiveness. When he returned, he discovered that Obralulum had managed to crawl to the surface of the sand. The brave girl had been trying to escape, and Olatunji knew that he could not let her leave because she would tell everyone what he had done. Olatunji began dropping heavy blocks into the well until Obralulum became silent. He continued pouring sand into the well until it was completely filled up. Then, on the next day, he called a bricklayer and paid him 2,000 naira to seal the spot with cement. Olatunji then took Angela's Honda Accord car to Jankara market to see if he could sell it. He then gave it to a car dealer to help him with the sale, and that was when the police tracked the vehicle to the car stand and arrested the dealer, who then gave him up.
Before you kill me, I will kill you because you are now becoming an enemy. You are now an enemy. So, in that case, I took her down. I said, okay, you normally know what we are going to do. Go and stand there and kneel down. Let's pray together. So any drug I see, I give it to you. You say, but it's not for the pregnancy again. I say, yes, for your health. So I said, she was moving together with her daughter. I say, leave the daughter beside. You are the one that need this prayer. He said, no. I said, for your other prayer temple, am I not going there together with my daughter? I said, okay. Because I don't want that day to fail. Because failing on that day, I know I've already saw her action before. So as she went there, matched the white cloth on the mat and fell into the pit. That is how everything was end. And I see that I saw the end of my enemy. Instead of you to kill me, kill first. When she fell, she was unable to shout. Yes, I was hearing only a. Yes, the daughter wasn't saying anything. But I believe that the daughter stand on her foot. Yes, stood on her foot. So in this very case, I look because no any one of my family was around. That is how the operation was easy to place.
The daughter stood on her foot.
So I also went to where the sand we removed from that place. Cover it by myself. So cover it by myself. So when I see that I carry roughly 60 or 50 buckets, I left it there because it's a big job. In my aim that I've already covered both children, so that is it. The night when I came around 6:37, I went there. When I peeped inside the hole, I saw the daughter on top of the sand. I've already fell. It is mean that you stand up, follow the sand as I was putting it. That is it. So in this case, I left it over there. So in that very night, I have to remove my jacket, go there, carry more sand to cover the daughter.
Olatunji blamed evil spirits for his actions. He claimed that he did not act with his normal mind and that it was the devil's work. He begged Angela's family to forgive him and said that he could not even sleep in the house after committing the crime. But Angela's family was not moved by his pleas. Angela's elder brother, Dr. Mike Kerry, who was a university lecturer, said that if the family had wanted Angela dead for her money, they would have killed her as soon as she retired in 2004. He insisted that there was a conspiracy involving other people and that Olatunji did not act alone, although Olatunji said he acted completely alone. Dr. Mike believed that the herbalist and his accomplices had hypnotized Angela and stolen her resources before finally ending her life. Olatunji was remanded in police custody and later charged to court for the double murder. He faced the possibility of a death sentence if found guilty. The case shows how desperation can make people vulnerable to wicked exploitation and how greed can turn a so-called healer into a cold-blooded killer. What are your thoughts on this heartbreaking case? Share your opinions in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video, share and subscribe to our channel or page for more true crime stories.